Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of Hiker Homily. Today we're going to talk, maybe briefly, who knows with the way I rant, about art on the trail. But no, we're not talking about like you go into a town and enjoy like a museum or something. We're talking about people who actually leave what they consider art out on hiking trails, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem. It goes back to, it's the same thing with my feelings on cairns on the trail. I did a video on that quite a while ago. For those of you who don't know, cairns are the little stacks of rocks. I'll put a picture of it up. When a cairn is built as a trail marker, it has a purpose other than just, I made something neat. I'm fine with those because there are certain trails that's like they go on like huge slabs of granite or something, especially up in the Sierras, you'll get that. And in order to stay on the trail, they're either going to have to put markers by like drilling into the granite or something, or they'll put up a cairn, one. And you get to that cairn and you can either see the trail where the granite slab ends, or another cairn a little further away that leads you until eventually you're off that granite slab and you're on a marked trail. So those have a purpose. They have a use. I get it. But when you have so many of them, it's clearly not a trail marker. It's ridiculous, like this example. So that was my stance on cairns on the trail. My stance on art on the trail is the same. If it's got some other kind of purpose and it was like somehow authorized, okay. I mean, there are some like parts of the PCT, let's say, the Pacific Crest Trail, for those who are not familiar, like part of the trail literally runs underneath a highway, and one of the rest stops in the desert. You can stop underneath an overpass and just kind of hang there and stay in the shade during the hot part of the day and stuff like that. Now, if whoever runs that part of the PCT, whether it's Bureau of Land Management, Forestry Service, private property, whatever, were to give permission for someone to paint a really nice, nicely done mural or something, all right, I get it. That's fine. And things like that. But just like randomly stuff, rocks that were taken from the natural area around there, and then you paint it with who knows what kind of paint. Maybe it's paint that's okay for the environment technically. It's still a natural object that's been defaced with a foreign object, some kind of a chemical. Every paint is a chemical of some kind. And then you just kind of leave it there. And oh, look how cute, it's a heart. Or neato, I painted a bird. It's not natural. It doesn't belong out there. There's no reason to do that. Not to mention the fact that most of the time, the rock they're using, they don't just like, oh, look at this, a rock right on the side of the trail, just perfectly placed. I'm going to paint it without moving it and then hike on. No, they're picking the rock up from somewhere else. And when you're hiking, you're in a biome. I've said this before on a few other things. You're in a biome, and even moving a rock is possibly disturbing the home of an insect here or there or some other kind of animal. And everything is connected. It is possible to set off a chain reaction. Okay, now that insect doesn't have a home and can't lay eggs and such. And so those offspring don't go on to become food for this and that. On up the chain. And again, people, the whole eye roll thing usually go, well, we're just talking about a rock. Okay, but that's exactly how it begins, okay? If I'm walking down the street and there's an abandoned house, and I'm kind of mischievous. Well, it's just one rock through one window pane. I've always wanted to break a window. That would be kind of interesting. And it's an abandoned house. No one lives there. So I pick up a rock, I throw it, and I break one of the windows. Oh my gosh, there's like 15 windows on the front of this house alone. And I just broke one. No big deal. That was kind of a thrill. Cool. I walk on. Okay, well then the next two people pass by the house and they look at it and, oh, broken window. That's too bad. And they keep going. But the third person passed. Ooh, look at that. And somebody's already broken one. I bet that was exciting. Pretty soon, the entire front of the house is nothing but broken windows because just one it's just me. I'm the only one here right now. Just one rock, that won't hurt. And it's the same kind of thing when you're dealing with natural stuff. Because when you're talking about some trails, like, again, the Pacific Crest Trail, thousands of people hike on that every year. Thousands. So if even a small percent of those thousands decide to leave some kind of goofy sculpture or art thing or paint something on a tree or however they nail something to the tree because, oh, this is a neat sign I made, it's really funny, and things like that. Even a small percent of the thousands doing that, pretty soon you've got a trail that is trashed and has got stupid little ridiculous painted things all over the place and is no longer an actual wild trail. It's a trail just full of just crap and chemical paints and just ridiculous stuff like that. So it's not just, it's just one thing, don't get all upset. No, because it's not. It never is just one thing. It's the same thing with the whole leave no trace, don't pick the flowers. Well, there's a couple of 100 flowers here. Okay, well, that's really neat. And you're just picking one, so what's that going to hurt? Well, then the next 300 people that come by in this week, if only half of them pick one, pretty soon we no longer have a couple of 100 flowers. We've got maybe 50 flowers left. And that might not be enough to sustain a population if they go to seed to spread. And pretty soon that patch of flowers dwindles until there is no more patch of flowers there. Or some other invasive species, the flowers are natural for that area and they were barely holding on, but once their numbers were dwindled from people, oh, it's so pretty, and walking away with it, that opens the door for an invasive species to move in and just wipe that whole area out. So that's the issue there, and that's one of the reasons why it's no art on the trail. No, you want art? Paint, get a river rock from one of the hardware stores. Paint it, put it in your front yard. I mean, I have a few of those in my own front yard. Rocks that we've bought for landscaping, and this is kind of a cool shape. I'm gonna, my wife will paint it. We've had our kids paint rocks, and they are in our front yard. They're neat decorations. But am I going to go to a national park or even a national forest, open land and stuff, and just start painting rocks and leaving them? It's ridiculous. Don't do that. So that's my take on it. Controversial. It shouldn't be. And that's the thing I always talk about how some of this stuff might be controversial, but nothing I talk about, as far as I'm concerned, is really that controversial. If you're the type of person who gives a crap and you're not an a-hole and you have some basic modicum of common sense, then none of this is controversial. It should be just, well, yeah, duh. That should be your reaction. Well, of course not. Of course I'm not going to pick up a random rock out of the forest and just slather paint on it and then leave it, or hack into it until it's roughly the shape of a heart and leave it, or paint this tree because it's a neat diorama. That should just be common sense. But unfortunately for some people who claim to be hikers and into nature, it's not common sense for them. They think it's cute and it's, oh, how nice. It's spreading the love. No, you're just spreading stuff that doesn't belong in nature. It's not part of the natural thing. If you're into the natural views, then keep it natural. And natural doesn't include paint or, rocks forced into shapes and any of that kind of stuff. that's my take on it. As usual, you can get a hold of me at all the usual places, including hikingforhealthca@gmail.com, or leave a comment below. Other than that, hope you guys are having a good spring. Our spring has been kind of up and down. We've had some beautiful days like this that we've been able to work on our garden. You can see it's really going along here. It's looking nice. And we've also had some interesting days of just pouring rain and just wild hail, and a few places in the southern valley of California, Central Valley, had some tornadoes and stuff. Crazy, just crazy. So we'll see how things progress. Other than that, I will catch you next time.